actually back in JNU. I think what you forgot to mention is that although I didn't begin my teaching career here, that happened a year earlier in '79 in the university. I taught in JNU from 1980 in CPS from 1980 to 2005. For a brief period, I was on loan to the university, which is where I met Anita. But I've been associated with CPS for 25 years. I taught here, so I taught more for much longer here than I taught in any other place in India or abroad. I'll lay down the conceptual structure and hope that the details and the depth will be given by Anita and Ajay. So I think it's important to recognize that there are four, broadly speaking, four conceptions of tolerance. As a matter of fact, there are only two, but we can sort of, if we are fine-tuning things, we can talk about four different conceptions of tolerance. The first is when two, and since we're talking about religious tolerance here, two religious groups, they find each other's views, each other's practices, their beliefs, they find them morally abhorrent, right? They can't agree on anything. And they have equal power to interfere in each other's domain of practice and beliefs. But they both refrain from doing so. Because they both these groups realize that the costs of conflict with one another is far too high. And so they reluctantly accept an arrangement of coexistence. So it's not that they're motivated by anything really positive, but they are forced to live together with one another. And that is because there is balance of power or something like that. And that is what we might call, that is one kind of negative toleration, and it might be called modus vivendi toleration. Right? So I hope that's clear. Right? So it's not I don't think there is anything like that to be found in Gandhi or Vivekananda, but it's important that we have this as something in the background against which people like Gandhi and Vivekananda espouse their idea. Now the second one is the one which is most famous of all conceptions of tolerance, and it is associated with the name of people like John Locke and with other sort of European philosophers. Sometimes they're equally important, but they're less known. And here, once again, to tolerate is to refrain from interfering in the activities of others. Even though one finds those activities or their beliefs or their views morally reprehensible. And even if they have the power to interfere in the activities of the other, they don't. So supposing there are some people who, I don't want to say very dramatic examples, I could easily talk about leaf eating or something like that. But let's say there is a religious procession which sort of it passes by, and you happen to be praying silently in a church or a mosque, and you get very disturbed by this loud music, and you find that morally reprehensible, and you have the power to go and interfere in it, but you refrain from doing it. So that's toleration in the negative sense, and that's what people like Locke talked about, right? That to tolerate is to refrain from intervening, even if you have the power to, and even when you find the other person or the attitude of the others or the views of others morally very disagreeable, even reprehensible. It's kind of, so there's a, you can say that this is I want to use a dramatic term, hate-based. It's a hate-based toleration. It's grounded in hate. You really hate the other, but you don't do anything to in relation to the other. So this is some negative conception of tolerance, and certainly, I don't think, again, you'll find this very much in the Indian traditions, this idea of toleration. So Gandhi is certainly not, but this is something which we must keep in the background. Because this is the dominant notion of toleration. That's why for a lot of us, toleration is not sufficient. We want to move beyond toleration. There's another reason why we want to move beyond toleration, and that is because of a certain asymmetry between those who tolerate and those who are tolerated. The tolerated are, remember, I have the power to interfere, and I'm still not doing it. I hate them, and I'm still not doing it. And it's, in the first case, of course, people have equal power. In the second case, I'm tolerating the other, even though that person is vulnerable, and he's at my mercy, but I'm just allowing him or her to survive. If we encounter each other, we come face to face, but not sufficient, not enough, or not with any degree of intensity. So we can allow it to happen, and this is very true in a number of modern urban societies. People tolerate each other, people live with each other, they tolerate each other, they like each other, but they don't go around hating one another or killing one another. So that is also a certain kind of toleration, which we might call something which is induced by some degree of indifference. Now, away from these three is a fourth idea of toleration, and this is what you might identify, at least to some extent, in my view. But I'm sure others, a few other speakers will talk. Now, here again, the basic idea is the same. I don't like what you're doing, and but I will allow you to do it. I have the power to stop you, but I'll still allow you to do it. But the reason here is different. The reason is not I really hate you, or not, it's not hate-based. The reason is exactly the opposite, I love you. And I find that there's something that you're doing which is not all that. Well, I don't agree with it. But I'll let you do it. Because my overall attitude to you is so positive. If it wasn't for that, I would have probably interfered. But my overall attitude to you is one of love, and therefore, even if you're doing something wrong, I'll indulge you. In the sense that I'll let you be. And that happens a lot, with your friends. You find that you will not tolerate in some other person, but in your friends, you allow that to happen. वो करना है, करने दो, कोई और होता तो मैं नहीं tolerate करता. Between couples, that happens quite a lot. See, there was another, so when people are, so somebody is smoking and the other person is not, कोई और होता तो क्या कहे नहीं क्या है बंद करो, but there are many friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, तो करने गए तो करने को यार थोड़ा सा टॉलरेट कर देते हैं. But whole background is very different. So, in a diverse society, there may be some people who do certain things which you do not particularly like. So you're not allowed, nobody is asking you to stop saying, to convert what you like, what you dislike into something that you like. ऐसा नहीं है. आप उसको dislike करते हो. लेकिन आप, you tolerate that. Because overall your feeling is that there have to be, there is fraternity, fraternal love between one another. We are citizens. We are bound by civic friendship. And because we are bound by civic friendship, because we have fraternal love for one another, or sisterly, or whatever other kind of love, civic friendship, we will let it be. Because there are so many other things in you that I really respect. That on this particular thing, I will not value you. School नहीं tolerate नहीं करूँगा. Fine, allow. That is something like positive toleration, which is distinct from all other, the two hate-based and one which is, the background is one indifference. Here, the background is one of either love or civic friendship or something, solidarity, and that is now, to my mind, this is the most positive of all the other conceptions of tolerance. It all almost comes to equal respect. Although there is a little bit of paternalism here, because you're tolerating something. There's so much good about this. Let this be. So there is that element there, but that is built into the idea of toleration. That's why toleration is different from, real solid equal respect, entitlements, rights, and so on. And I think this is a notion of toleration that is most acceptable. However, each context, each idea of toleration, each conception of toleration, each elaboration, interpretation of toleration is also context dependent. If there are people who are at each other's throats, then you cannot expect the fourth idea of toleration to be the most relevant. You'll be very happy with modus vivendi toleration. Or you'll be happy with this second idea, the Lockean idea of toleration. कि दूसरे की जान तो मतलब, right? You understand me, right? Just let the other person be. Even though you're motivated by an intense kind of hatred, you just don't go and kill the other person. Now, unfortunately, difficult as it might be for the person who's tolerating, and however uncomfortable it might be for people who are sort of bystanders and looking at it, sometimes you need it. And you can't just dismiss it as of being of no value. It has some value, but I would say that and sometimes, and in India we may need it sometimes. We may not be able to have anything more positive than that. So somebody espousing that should be just dismissed. So I think there is, but again, it's not something that you really go out and defend outright because it's a lesser notion than the other positive aspect toleration, and sometimes with notions which are even deeper and better and more valuable than that, which are real profound respect for one another.